Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live stream. We hope y'all had a fabulous week, and we hope you're ready to spend some time with us. Hopefully, what's the word? Decomposing? No, that's the wrong word.
Compressing.
Decompressing. Yeah, we're not going to decompose yet. Hope everybody had a good week. Start us off like you usually do, Kyle.
Good afternoon or evening, whatever the case may be on where you're at. Glad y'all could be here. We've been cutting up behind the scenes and just having a good time. It's Friday night. We're ready to wind down, and Lord knows what we're going to talk about. But I think we do have an option to go to, and I think it's going to be entertaining for some of y'all. Actually, should be entertaining for most of y'all, because if y'all are like me, you had no idea there was this much involved in it. All right, CW, what you got?
Just responding to the side chat. No, just another week. It kind of drug by for me because I had a lot of knee issues, but didn't do a whole lot of casting. Got to do a little bit of casting. I made a couple videos, so doing a lot better health wise. But the knee is still an issue ongoing. Had a bugger of a time with that Winchester this morning, but I got through it. I hope to make a little 5-minute video of making that slave pin, dropping it in, and pushing the pin through, and threading the string in, and doo-dah. But boy, I had to stop it about 5 or 6 times because it wasn't that easy. That spring, if you read my comments in that video, everybody was saying how I can't believe it was that hard. I did it a couple times. Mine wasn't that way. And I tell you, it was all I could do, and I'm not a weak person, to squeeze that mainspring down, and it had a little helper under it. And I took the spring out. The screw out. But got it in, and it all worked out as I thought. Pinching that spring down really helped a lot. I had some rubber clad jawed pliers, and that relieved the tension, and it let me get that screw in. So it wasn't that big a deal, but it certainly wasn't as easy as I figured it was going to be. But that's the way things go. You seldom best laid plans, I guess, is the wording. But
Yeah,
it was good. I got it back together for my buddy, and I'll go see him probably tomorrow or Sunday, get him back his rifle.
well, yes, I agree. Especially projects around the house take usually twice as long and cost twice as much money as you originally planned when you start it, because something always breaks.
Yep, there's a reason that you mess with it for a minute and then hire somebody to come over there and finish it because you're just done with it.
Well, I was the guy who was given the project, so I couldn't pass it off. But it wasn't hard. It was just you had to think about it and relook at it, and I love that stuff. I could do that and be perfectly happy.
Yeah, that would be a fun gig to do that during the day. That's fun. It reminded me so much of when I took my Rossi 92 apart the first time. It was tough, and me and Chico did a hangouts, and he watched me do it. Well, we did it at Kyle's house, didn't we? We did it at Kyle's house. That's right.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, it was a pain, man.
It was crazy. I don't understand why they overcomplicated it the way they did, but that is a very reliable firearm.
It is, but
The only issue I had with mine was that little button on the lifter on the Rossi, because I speed
Oh,
mine.
for the shell lifter to
Yeah.
load the next round. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of people having issues with that. And there's something somewhere that's got some gunk in it that if you totally disassemble the rifle and cut it in half with a bandsaw, you can get to it and remove it and clean it out. I don't know. They just overcomplicated it, but it's a very reliable system.
It is.
Oh no.
No,
I don't know if Mr. Hester's wanting ankle shots.
that's Echo's part.
That's Echo's wheelhouse. Yeah.
Well,
No, I hope his legs and feet are all right. He's saying he's having some issues as well.
and Mike's a good guy, man. We met him. Matter of fact, I got that video ready, Mister Rebel. You ready to be on TV?
I'm actually taking Angel up there. Not sure if it's going to be this weekend or 2 weekends from now, but we're going up there because I'm like, you got to see this country. It's gorgeous up there, and we're going to stop and see a buddy of mine.
It is a beautiful place up there, and I can see where that place would just be bubbling bubbling over with deer and all kind of stuff, man. I mean, it's basically fingers of woods separating fields.
Did you see? Did you see Preacher's video there with his tree stand with his ground blind?
Oh, his office cubicle.
Yeah, he's got some nice views there. 200 and something yards in one direction and 360 degrees there. That's a nice spot.
That was great. Yeah, that's a great spot.
We got Mr.
Green spray
Kingpin.
paint.
There he is. Hello, Kingpin.
Good evening, everybody.
How you doing, bro?
Not too bad, not too bad. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite.
Well, thanks for being here, man. Hope you had a good week.
It ain't over yet, that's for sure.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Uh-oh.
We're winding down here.
Yeah, that never sounds good.
Hmm.
Can I do a little showing everybody something that a very great friend of mine sent me in the mail? Can I do a little mail call thing?
You better blow him up, Jamie.
We can in just a minute. Before we do that, and this won't take long, let's go through and tell everybody what we did gun related this week. And I know CW was casting bullets and he put the rifle together. Anything else, man?
Not really. I've got a couple ideas for a couple videos. Talking with Mark, you were talking about Mark there, and he sent me a bullet, and I realized that Kurt sent me a bullet, and I got 3 other bullets from another friend on a forum. So I have 5 different 150-ish grain 30 caliber bullets. So I'm going to do a little series on the 300 blackout, maybe a couple loads of each. So I can shoot in the MSR and in the bolt rifle and see what I get, because I haven't had the best of luck with cast bullets in the 300s. So
Really?
That might be interesting.
I've had a lot. You got the Lee 150 and the Lee 200?
I've got the Lee 155 and the 160. But a half a dozen different linemen.
Would you like some 150s and some 200s?
Well, I've got the 155, 312, 155 2R, the classic one. It's actually a 7.62 bullet, but
I'm just asking.
No, I think I'm good. But like I said, I got 4 that have been sent, 5 that have been sent me. So I want to try those and see where we go. There's 3 of them are accurate bullets, but they're all different.
I mean, of course, you know me. It's going to take 3 months for you to get them.
Yeah, I have these, so I'm good. But I'm figuring if I try a couple powders of each one, maybe 20 bullets of each, 10 for each load, each rifle, I could probably do a good couple of videos just on that. So that's something I got in my head for the short term.
Yeah, that counts, GGW. All right, what about you, Kyle? Did you do anything?
I cleaned a couple of guns. I cleaned 2 ARs and my Henry 44. I didn't do any shooting, and I haven't done any loading. But it's always good to keep everything nice and clean, and ready to go, so it doesn't rust. Because rusty stuff is no good.
Yeah, it's not advisable. What about you, Mr. Kingpin?
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say mum to this topic. Something gun related, very, very cool happened. Started happening, we'll put it that way. So once everything's done, I'll be able to, because I don't know much about it myself either. But once I do know about it, I'll be able to share it with everybody.
Gonna do a video?
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Good job. Good job. Look forward.
Good deal, man. Good deal. Yeah, baby. I've had a very busy week, particularly in Christian Motorcyclist Association. There's OCD Outdoors. We'll go through side chat in a minute. Let me put this up there. Oh no, but that's okay, Critter. I mean, you still got the lead, dude. That's the great thing about casting bullets. And if New Tex I can gets on here, we're going to talk about what he needs to get started. And I've already started working on that with him. So we're making a list and checking it twice. I did some work towards securing the 16 gauge double barrel. It's supposed to be a trade, but the guy I'm acquiring it from, I guess I'm kind of in that situation Kingpin's in. I really shouldn't be talking about it till I make a video about it and declare it's mine. But yeah, I'm trading a revolver for this Stevens, which is Savage double barrel shotgun. And that'll kind of lead us into another topic we want to talk about, and that's shotgun. But first, wait, Mr. Lusk has an unboxing to do.
But wait for it. I guess I need to turn my camera on. All right. People, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, is everybody ready? Has anybody seen a box like this?
I have.
Shut up. Okay, and let me tell you, I actually unwrapped the mold that was in that box, and here it is. It is a Lyman. Let me find the one with the numbers on it. It's on this side.
Ideal, actually. No.
It says Lyman on the top. Well, Lyman Ideal. Yeah, that's how old it is.
Yeah, that could be 40s. 50s anyway.
Okay, here's what we have. Looks like an Elmer Keith to me all day long.
Mm-hmm. Good looker.
All right. So that's part of it. The next box is had this sticker on it that fell off. It is this one, and I will open it up for you right here on camera. Look at that beautiful wad cutter.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that beauty. And Jamie, you can borrow this mold. I'm still trying to get somebody to get their heart right and tell me what they want, and I'll just buy the damn molds instead of casting and sending them back, because we know I'm bad at doing that because weather. But I ain't gonna leave these out. I shouldn't have left yours out. I've learned that lesson. You can take me off of the jazz hands.
Is that all you got? That's
What?
enough, man.
What? That's a damn enough, ain't it?
So you're entirely welcome, Kyle. I know you'd enjoy them.
I appreciate that. Me and you need to get together on settling up.
We'll do that.
I'm
See
sure.
what Andy put.
Shut up, Andy. It was an accident. It was not supposed to happen. It's not like I went, let me just take it down here. No.
What's the number on that?
Which one, sir? The
Wad cutter, full wad cutter, button nose wad cutter.
wad cutter is I just boxed it all back up. Wait a minute. Oh, it's right here. 358, 495.
I'm almost positive I have that exact mold. But I think mine is a single cavity. I'm almost positive.
This one's a single cavity as well, sir. Hang on, let me.
Man, I'm telling you, those things shoot so good. And what's so great about those wad cutters, man, is how they cut that hole in that paper.
Ain't it pretty?
Wait a minute. Is that a 495 or a 435?
Should be 95.
Look at that sticker, the one that fell off the box.
But look at the mold.
It doesn't come across, Kyle. 535 is what we see, but the other actual mold number doesn't come across.
Okay, all right.
Hello, Jason.
Look at the other side. Yes, it is a 430, 458, 495. Yeah. Sorry.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for the invite, man. It's my pleasure.
Good to see you.
Oh, we got the hobo in the house.
There's Mike.
I've inadvertently killed the chat. I'll have to get that back. I'm repackaging.
That's cool, hobbies.
Oh, come on. Damn it.
So what do those molds make?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
What kind of bullets are you making with those molds? Like what's that for?
Those are 38 special 357s.
Uh, 38, that 357, 358 diameter is for 38 special 357 magnums, 35 Remington, 35 Wayland. You can size them down to 356 and use them in 350 Legend. So
Or you can go stupid, make super heavy 9mm rounds if you want to.
Man, you could.
Here's Andy.
Thumpers.
Andy said he's been casting zinc bullets. That's not a surprise. I'm sorry, Kingpin. Go ahead, buddy.
You said you could size it down to make it the 350 Legend. How do you make it smaller if the mold's already one size?
Run it through a sizing die.
And that
It
what
may
trims
cast
parts of the
350.
projectile apart?
It may cast 358, 359. You can run it through a 356, 357. Hell, it may even cast 360. I don't know yet. I hadn't cast with them. Nobody's cast with them because I took the
Oh
wrapper
no.
off of them. But it may cast 360. You can size them all the way down to 356 and use them in 9mm.
I didn't hear that, Dave. That's really sorry news. I enjoyed him.
I really liked him. If he's the same one that is he the one that did scope reviews and uh, had a training school and all that?
I don't know if he had that. I know he's one of the main guys that was always on film. The what's his name there from Cal Fledermaus was always behind the camera. Dave, I think his name is. Anyway, he's always behind the camera, and you always see
Yeah, he was the younger guy. Yeah.
Danny. And then they got that girl that's been on there too, and then they occasionally have guests and such, but it's usually Danny or the cop that you see.
I'm extremely sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's really too bad. None of us live forever, but that's too bad. He wasn't an old man.
Man,
Well, Fuzzy, if I can talk you out of those molds, I'll do it.
there's Level Gun. What's going on, buddy?
Yep, you can Kingpin. You can size down. You could probably size down to whatever you wanted if you did it in steps. You can't move it more than a couple of 4,000.
That's the thing. You got to do it in steps.
But yeah, you can get it down in 30, 35, 57 35s or 38 35s down to 356 isn't really a big deal. But it's an appropriate design bullet as well. Sometimes a bullet just isn't appropriate for a caliber based on its design or its weight. Yeah, I knew he had it. He's mentioned it. That's too bad. That's rough.
Man, that's
I'm not going to put it in the side chat, but hashtag, you know what?
Let's go, Brandon.
No.
basically cancer sucks.
Yes,
Man.
it does.
F cancer. He said, "Let's go, Brandon." It was just an automatic response.
Yeah.
Well, that too.
Well,
damn it.
I'm glad. I'm really thankful that Jason and Kingpin joined us tonight. We thank y'all for coming, and I really. Jason has a very nice Smith and Wesson revolver collection.
Oh, yes. Thank you, sir. Yes. 686s, a 586. They're all older models. They're all no dashes, dash ones. I have them polished up pretty good. They, the Smith and Wesson. They shoot straight. You know what I mean? They are wonderful pistols.
Yes, we do.
I'm fortunate to be able to acquire them. I only can shop basically in my local area, so it took a few years to get them, but yeah, I'm fortunate to have them, and hopefully I'll have them and just pass them on to someone.
We're talking Jamie's numbers now. He's all about the 586s.
Well, I thought enough of it to name my channel after it.
Yeah, I never had a 686, but I did have a 586. I didn't have it for long. But I've had a bunch of different Smiths. A lot of them I haven't had for long.
At my local shop just last weekend, I checked out a Colt Python.
Mm-hmm. A new one?
Yeah, the new ones, not
How was it?
a classic. I'm still on the fence. I could probably get it. There's a lot I keep telling myself, go ahead and get it. But actually, it's nowhere near my Smiths. Um, the trigger it's okay on the pull, but it has an extremely strong trigger reset. I mean, that catches your attention that it's extremely strong. I could get used to it, sure. It's. I think didn't they have some problems with them like short stroking when they first come out, and this might be one of their fixes.
I believe they did. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's awkwardly strong. And I haven't really researched yet if you could do some type of trigger job on it, or change a spring or something, or bend it a little bit or something to reduce that. But the gun's beautiful. Fit and finish on it was beautiful. It was really nice. It was just that trigger. And really for me, the trigger's the most part of the gun for me. So I'm kind of on the fence in it. I wouldn't hate myself if I bought it, but as nice as the Smiths are that I have, uh, it just kept me from buying it right then and there. And usually I'm a guy that'll buy it right then and there when I see it. But I could say it was a little disappointing. I expected more out of that gun.
Yeah, I asked because I didn't have high hopes. I can't see how it could compare to the old.
Yeah, if it just wasn't that strong reset on it, and if I didn't have other revolvers, didn't have anything to compare it to, you know what I mean, it might be fine. But it's one of those things for me. I come up, I'll do any kind of thing that needs done on my firearms, any work. I come up with my own little saying. I don't like distractions on my gun of any way. I don't like a feeling, something that feels that distracts me, or the sights or anything. I just want a nice neutral feeling gun for me, and I'll change and modify what I have to do to get that. And that's just one of those things that is like a distraction. And I was just a little disappointed in that. Just the trigger reset, the trigger pull is nice. The action on the cylinder is nice. The gun was put together nice. And it was just one of those things that made me pause and like, don't necessarily have to have it. I wouldn't mind having it, but
Yeah, I haven't had them in my hands. I've just read the reviews, and like you said, the first ones had some reset issues, timing issues. But I don't know. I'm not really in the market for one. I've got a couple of old Colts, and I like them, but it was nice to see him bring it back. But I didn't have a lot of faith in it would compare to an old one.
they're slightly pricey too.
Mm,
Um, I'm not the biggest fan of the brand new Smiths. What are the 686? What are they now? Dash sixes or something? I'm not the greatest fan on those either, really. Um, but I would love to have one. But geez, they're. I could get a nice Smith like that, send it to Smith, have him do a little trigger job on it, chamfer the cylinders, and I'd still probably save $500 or $600 on the price of that Colt. So, I,
yeah.
I'm glad to see Colt brought it back. It is a beautiful, beautiful pistol. But
Uh,
yeah,
Signal Soldier, he's talking about the new Colt Pythons, right?
Yes.
yeah, the 357 Python.
Yeah.
I got I had an idea that I wanted a 10 millimeter GP 100, but they don't make one with a long enough barrel to hunt with it here in Connecticut. I need a 6-inch barrel, and the longest they got is 5. So, um, and I went to look at them, and they're like $1,000, and I just don't see a GP 100 worth $1,000. I just don't see it.
Nope.
It's a nice gun, but it's just not worth that money. And I
What are
got
what are you talking about now?
a GP 100 Ruger.
Oh, okay.
And then I got the idea if I'm going to have that kind of gun, I've got a number of 10 millimeter autos, but they frown on them here for hunting as well. So it's got to be a revolver. I can't even use a contender, believe it or not, in this state. They don't allow it. Any revolvers for hunting.
Blue bear.
So I looked at the 44 special. That makes a whole lot more sense as a revolver cartridge, but they don't put that in a 6-inch barrel. So I don't know. That's the latest revolver I looked at, and it's not really what I want. What I need, I should say. 5 is fine, but they say it has to be 6. So, and I don't want the big Smith 610. That's just that's an end frame. It's a hunkin' big gun. If I'm going to have that, I'm going to carry a 45 Colt or a 44 mag.
You guys find yourself becoming, I don't want to say lazier, I'll say bolder in your reloading when you're reloading for a revolver as opposed to a semi-auto?
For powder charges, you mean?
Powder charges, casting perfection, all that kind of stuff.
No, it's still they're really arguably no stronger. There's really no reason if you're loading a contender or an encore, I'd say you got a little bit of margin for error. But no, revolvers aren't really overly strong unless you're looking at like a what's the big red hawk. That's a serious one.
A super red hawk.
They do JCM, but I've got a 41 mag. To me, just a 10 millimeter revolver. I only wanted it because it's what I need to hunt with, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not caliber restricted. I'm gun restricted. So I've got 41 magnums, and that's better than any 10 millimeter. So, and especially in a single action, I would never buy a single action in a semi-auto caliber. To me, that's just silly. I've got 45 Colts and 41 magnums and 357 magnums and lots of choices. I don't need to have a 10 millimeter, just have a 10 millimeter. And that's what I turned to the 44 special for. It just makes a lot more sense in a revolver to me.
I'll say this about what Kingpin's saying. I do find myself my answer to your question is yes. Well, I'm still very careful when I'm reloading for pistol, but you got to be careful to shake yourself awake and not become complacent because just because it's revolver ammo don't mean that it's not important that you pay attention to what you're doing. I think this is where I'm at. I would recommend anybody that's starting to reload start with 38 special. I think that's one of the easier and your straight wall rim cases like 38 special, 41 Magnum, 44 special. Those kind of things are easy to get yourself acclimated to the steps required in reloading. Then you move on to your semi-auto pistol calibers like your 9s and your 45s and your 40s. But
Very good choice of words, sir.
I tell you, one thing that you got to be careful of is that Glock smile you see on some cases that have been fired in an unsupported chamber. You just need to throw those away.
That's just not something that you see much anymore, Jamie. That's an internet thing that was killed with the second generation Glocks. Trust me, I have probably 20 Glocks, and I shoot them hot, and I do not have Glock smiles. I have factory barrels. I have aftermarket barrels. It's just not a thing anymore.
I've never
seen
it.
I can show them to you. I've got them, but it's not that common anymore.
I've seen them.
Yeah, I've got them. My mech tech will do them every single time if I load certain loads, but that's not a locked breech gun. That's a blowback. And what happens is the pressure is so high, that bolt is coming back no matter what. And the pressures are still up as that bolt comes back. So it's not really an unsupported chamber. That's another that's another term that really kind of irks me because there's not many. There's very, very, very few handguns that do not have that. It just needs to be there for the gun to feed. If you think about a bolt action, that's a fully supported chamber.
Right.
It doesn't need to have that ramp to feed it. The ramp is before the chamber. Where in a semi-auto, everything needs to be small. It's a handgun. There's sacrifices for everything with a handgun, and it's in the barrel. So unless you've got a ramped barrel or something along those lines, you don't have as much support in the chamber. Like when the handgun competitions really turned in the late 70s, early 80s, and I forget what is IPSC. They went to that the 9mm couldn't do major, so they went to that 9x21 and 23, the old super, and they pushed that hard. And those were done with the ramped barrel and a better supported chamber to reach major pressures. So that's when you saw that common. But yeah, Glock fixed that by the second and a half gen, and it's not really an issue unless you're overloading. Any of them will do it overloaded.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, if you see those cases, don't reload them.
Absolutely. I said many times on many forums talking to people that the bulge buster, I have it and I use it, but you need to know what you're doing, and you can't blindly push cases through that, because a Glock Smile, a real Glock Smile, not a bulged case, and that's another thing. A lot of people don't know the difference. A Glock Smile is a sheared case. That brass in the wall is sheared. It's literally cut. And when you smash it back together, it's still a bad case. It's still going to have problems. And it could be a catastrophic issue if you don't realize it. But a bulged case is just from a fat chamber. Now, Glock has a lot of loose chambers because they're, a designed caliber to feed everything and always work. So they are a looser chamber, and you will get bulges, not smiles. There's a difference.
Well, that's very good to know. The whole time you were speaking here, I thought you were meaning a bulged case the whole time. I thought the Glock Smile was just your phrase for it. So now that I've heard that there's actually two different issues, that's good to know, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is a different issue. Yeah, and thank you, CW.
I can't really show pictures, so it's kind of rough. I mean, I could pull up my phone, but it's just going to be a white screen. But it's there's no mistaking it once you see it. It's bulged, and you can almost see a line that you can click with your fingernail. It's a sheared case. It's cut brass. It's like you take a piece of metal, you keep bending it, and it breaks. That's what it is. It's sheared. It's literally sheared.
Yeah, you just got
40 major. What kind of nonsense are you talking? 40 makes major with every load they ever made.
There you go. I could probably find us some of those. I got a good bit of 40.
Yeah, I could run down in the reloading room and grab one. Let me go ahead and do that.
All right.
I'll
Its brass cannot be rescued. That's exactly right. It needs to be thrown away. We all do.
Twice.
Now, is that Glock Smile? Is that just 40, or is that 9mm also?
It's more prevalent in 40.
Yeah, 40 is a higher pressure round. Yeah, like Jamie said, it's more prevalent than 40,
and it's not exclusive to Glocks. It can happen to a piece of brass in any semi-auto pistol that's not a fully supported barrel. And when CW gets back, we'll talk more about that. But it's hard to see until you size the brass. Once you size the brass, there's actually a little crease that you think it's okay, or you can think it's okay. But like CW said, it is cut, and this is the thing. For it to be a problem, you got to reload it, and it's got to go into the chamber, and it's got to line up with the part of the chamber that it's going in that same unsupported area for it to be a problem. But it will blow your gun up if it lines up. And remember, if it can, it will. Eventually, it'll happen, guys. So you just need to throw that stuff.
Another reason no one should own Glocks.
Well,
Easy.
you said it. I did. Dave, buddy, you live in the coffee gourmet capital of the world. Coffee is good where you live every single night.
That's where Starbucks was formed.
Right.
Good
Walk says.
morning, Dave. How are you doing, sir?
The first gen 40 is what really gave it the bad name. But yeah, it was. You can get smiles in 9mm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I was just saying what happens, and it's not exclusively in Glocks. It can happen
Absolutely.
in any semi-auto with an unsupported chamber.
Yeah. Glock's got the bad rep for that because they had looser chambers, but they also have the rep of feeding most ammo, so that's why.
Yep.
Now I had a bunch of cases, but I did find one 10mm case to show you. If you want to blow me up, Jamie, I can show you that. Okay, there's the regular side. Everything looks fine. When you turn it around to the bulge, you can see that shape is what the bottom of the barrel looks like. That's a Glock smile. That's not a bulge.
That's weird.
Just on one side, just where the ramp is. And that's not a good case. You throw that away. But if you were to push that through a bulge buster, it would smooth that right down and you wouldn't know. But that's a wasted case. That's a no good case. Now, on a bulged case, you'll see the whole bottom of it. Now, you notice that was obviously a hot load, but you notice it's not bulged anywhere else because the pressure was pretty tight, instantaneous. It was a spike. And that's what you got. So there's a good example for you of the difference.
Yeah, there you go, Dave. It is, buddy.
Yep. And you want to throw those away. You can't save them. But like I said, my Mech Tech, it's a blowback, and a blowback action in calibers like 10mm are hard. That's why I on a lot of forums everybody was talking about the Ruger PC carbine, and they should come out in 10mm. Should come out in 10mm, and I just said I don't see it. It's a blowback in 10mm is a tough thing to do. 45 Colt made a lot more sense to see next because of the pressure levels. Yeah, it's one of the it's a what do they say? You put it on your bench so you can always see it and think about it and look at it. It's one of those. Usually you make a mistake reloading or whatever. That's what that's up there for me to always look at and reference.
Wall of shame.
Yeah, that's that I agree. I've never seen one that bad either. But that's 10mm, not 40 Smith and Wesson.
Yep. So,
yeah, and see, that's why I recommend getting started with revolver because they just don't happen.
It's fully supported. Yep.
There's a good question for CW.
Is that as good to as one to see on? I didn't. Let me see if I can find it here.
He said that was a good one to see
See it
on.
on. Okay, yeah. Thank you,
Is
Mike.
is the is high power carbine 10 millimeter straight blowback?
Yeah, yeah. Most of them are though. What you're seeing now is CMMG has a delayed blowback. That's going to be a lot better for these higher pressure cartridges. Yeah, Raj, I have a first gen 23 as well, and I don't get it with my loads, but with the 40, I don't ever push things. I stay book loads. And Val, I did the same thing as you. My load for 3 gun is my caliber for 3 gun is 40, and the matches that I've shot allow me to use a PCC instead of a 223. So I shoot 40 Glock 35 and 40 PCC as my handgun and rifle, because we're only out to 200 yards, and I can find the targets that they have for us at 200 yards with the 40 PCC. And my loads are not hot. I'm shooting a 175 Lee conventional groove at probably about 800 ish in the handgun and probably 1050, 1100 in the rifle.
So, OCD, do you feel that we're wrong by recommending starting with 38, uh, 38 special? 38 Smith and Wesson is a little different than 38 special.
Yeah, it's a bigger bullet.
There's Big Al. What's up? And I probably need to go through the side chat. So let's do that now. MKJO. Welcome in, buddy. Not familiar with you, but welcome. Glad to see you. Good to meet you. CW Longshot is in the
I'm
panel.
here, present.
Signal Soldier 31. Lakeview Outdoors. Tim S. Vanessa Kitty. Miss Kitty, how you doing? G23 Critter 9A, Walter Bunning, JCM 45, Mike Hester, Edward Petty, Andy 79Z28, our professor, G23 again, Michael Hurtneck, Big E, Daniel God is my judges at a high school football game, Fuzz T Fork 8, Cranky Cletus, what's going on? Mr. Pollard is here. Willie the Bullet Man is here. Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog. And I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. All right, if I didn't call your name, put something down in the comments and I'll introduce you to everybody. There's Jay Peterman, Bald and Curious, Walter Bunning, Thorzax. Did I already say Thorzax? Walks Fletcher. I didn't say him yet.
That's Raj, my buddy.
Yeah, I like his comments. Gun loving grandpa. What's going on? Reloader 762. There's MKJO. I like the way that kind of OCD Outdoors. And I think that's everybody. Gun Hobo 62. Lead Bullet Junkie. What's going on, man? JCM 45. Jason Stewart is in the room, and so is Kingpin and Mr. Kyle Lusk. All right, thank y'all guys for coming out and spending some of your Friday night with us. We got Michael Hurtneck and 6 Shooter Texan. is out there. 6 shooter, I got to get over there and watch some more of your cowboy action shooting stuff. I really like that. I really do.
Hey, Jamie, do we want to talk about that other topic?
Yeah, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there, Master Sergeant. Okay. Um, I'm gonna have to do an unboxing video because I got this. It's not an unboxing. It's a tote. I mean, literally a tote, and it's from that guy right there.
It's untoting.
Yeah. So we gotta do a video about that. Um, but um, since he did that, yeah, more stuff has happened. Um, Willie the Bullet Man sent me a big old bag of shot, and MCK sent me some of these things right here, and we were talking about reloading shotgun. Okay, Junkie, that would be Mr. 6 shooter Texan. And there you go, Mr. Mr. Rebel knows what he's talking about. So yeah. Yeah, he does. He's a machinist by trade, I think. 6 shooter is. So he's
Oh,
going
very
to
nice.
shoot cowboy in the morning. How about that?
Yeah, he does a lot with air guns too.
Yes, he does. I get it, Big E, and I understand what you're saying. So, Mark, Mr. MCK sends me these buckshots. Let me get up. Get a little closer here.
Oh,
So I was talking to him on the phone the other day. There you go. Can you see that? Pretty blue powder coat too. Let's see, does that help?
there's some comedy in there, Jamie, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay. All right.
No, you good.
I asked Mark. I'm on the phone. I said, "Well, what size is that buckshot?" And he said it's number 5. So, not to say that the man doesn't know what he's talking about, because he obviously knows more about it than I do. I've never reloaded a shot shell in my life, but I'm not gonna be able to say that too much longer because all of you guys are making sure I got anything and everything. And I go online and I find uh, this chart, and it kind of tells you about the size of shot. So I have this saved as a PDF. If any of you guys need this, let me know if you're getting into shotgun. And so, all right, so I, I saved this and I printed it off, and then I get home and I get my calipers and I measure this. Can y'all see that? And it's 0.333. So I look on the chart, and 0.333 or 0.33 is double aught buckshot. 0.32 is single aught. 0.36 is triple aught. You think about that, that's the same size as um, That's the same size as, well,
Eight
that's it.
millimeter.
The
Yeah.
357 Magnum 38 special stuff. Actually, a little bigger. Yeah, that's right. Pollard knows. Yeah, he does shotgun. That is true, Junkie. And fun. It's just fun, Dave. 38 special is just fun. And if you guys have got any critter, I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you. Uh, there's some interesting information.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have some new Starline.
Me too.
I tried to buy some probably, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago, but I only wanted like a couple hundred pieces. And this guy had it and he wouldn't break it up. He had like 5 or 7,000 pieces, some crazy amount. And I said, well, I really only need a couple hundred. I certainly don't need thousands. And he threw me a price I couldn't resist. So I just bought it. So I've got like half a 5 gallon pail full of 380s. I do have a couple of them, so I use it, but it was so cheap, I just couldn't resist it. So I sent him the money, and I got a half a bucket of 380s.
You guys are talking. That Starline is shell casings, right?
You just brass, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And what they make the best out there.
Some people think, I won't think they're the best. They're definitely good. I've had nothing but good luck with them. They're definitely something that people look up to, but I wouldn't call them the best.
I would probably say, as far as commercial reloading brass for revolver, yeah, they're probably the best. Probably all handguns, probably. Uh, yeah, OCD guys, they're good and they're economical. Bang for buck, even their rifle stuff is probably the best bang for the buck out there. Now you can get better brass, but you're going to pay for it. You start getting into precision rifle shooting, and you buying Lapua Palma and
Yeah, Jameson. There's a number of really good ones.
yeah, Atlas Development Group, all that kind of stuff.
How come you guys can't make your own brass? Like, how come they don't make like a mold or a stamp or something like that, where you can just make your own casings?
Brass is drawn, so they start with a like a washer, and they make a cup, and then it's drawn over a mandrel and formed. So it's little beyond what the average person can do.
So you couldn't make like a mold and pour some molten copper in. And,
I don't
yeah.
think it'd be strong enough. I mean, brass. I've said it a million times. Brass is a vessel that holds the powder. It doesn't really hold much strength, but it does need to have some ductile strength. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Cast casings wouldn't have the same strength.
Well, wouldn't it be really prudent of some really smart gun people out there to figure out a way for John Q. Public to make their own casing and make their own primers?
Well, primers, they're different. Primers are certainly a doable thing, or a much more doable than a case. Like I said, it's drawn, it's formed, and it requires a lot of pressure and a lot of force beyond what pretty much any garage mechanic is going to have. Sure, it is, Dave. I've seen him do it many times. 38 special and target capacity. I mean, I've like you, I've shot bullseye for almost 40 years. So, I know we've both seen the same things. 38 special is crazy, crazy accurate, along with 32 long. Another one that's not looked at anymore, but it's every bit as accurate.
See, the thing about brass, it's strong, but it's flexible,
Mm-hmm.
and it completes your firearm.
Yeah, it actually does a lot. It does a lot more than just a simple thing. It seals the bore, and that's why on lower pressure loads you'll see black on your brass, because that brass is not sealing like it should because the pressure is not high enough. It actually seals off. It expands, seals the bore in the chamber, and then relaxes and is able to be extracted.
There you go.
That's pretty neat. They must move the extractor, but yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, Dave. I mean, Mike's right. You could turn it on a lathe, and that's done with a lot of with some obsolete cases. They take brass and they turn it from other cases.
That's one of the best albums in history, Critter. Absolutely, Walter. But see, it not only does it hold your components together and make a round for you to shoot in your gun, it finishes the barrel. It completes the chamber. It it has to withhold all the pressure. Of course, it's supported, but yeah, it's the most important part of your firearm, really and truly. When you think about what that brass does. I'm wanting to get some Lapua. I just can't make myself uh, pay that kind of money for that. But if I'm going to shoot the distances that I want to, it's going to be a must. One of these nights, we need to have a live stream about loading for long distance shooting. That's a fact, Big E. Lapua brass is about as good as it comes.
I got a question I'd like to run by you guys real quick. I was going to ask us. I really appreciate the invite tonight because it makes it a lot easier to ask this than to type it out. So, not really sure if I'm going to use the right terminology here with casting or not. So you can correct me. But I got a question about when I'm casting. I'm using a Lee 2 cavity mold. When you go to make your pour, like you lift your handle. I'm doing it like twice. I'm filling my first cavity and closing the pot, moving the mold and hitting it a second time. Should I be just opening it up one time, moving the mold and then shutting it off, or is it just personal preference, or how should I be doing that? I've been having good results when it's hot enough that even though I do it twice, my two puddles are still nice and shiny and flowing together after the second one. But I didn't know if I should be doing it twice or just doing it once. And it also helped me because I just noticed he said he got a 6 cavity mold. I don't want to go to that too. So, on a 6 cavity mold, do you do it 6 times or you just lift the handle once?
Depends
Well,
on how lazy you are, Jason.
here's the deal. It is personal preference,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing a bottom pour mold. If you're casting with a dipper, the old thought was you want a big huge puddle because you want to keep that mold good and hot because the casting was slower with a dipper. So keeping the heat up and keeping the consistency up, you want a good sized puddle on top of your spear plate. But no, it's personal preference. as long as you've got a good consistent puddle for each cavity, you're going to be fine. But try it both ways. You can buy molds with what's called a trough. In other words, there's a groove in between each of the holes, and they're made with the idea of just lifting the handle and running it through all the holes. It's just personal preference. I don't think either way is really wrong. As long as you're getting a consistent puddle and a good base fill out, you're doing fine.
But I think if you say that, you got to talk about the significance of the puddle at the top. What happens is as that lead is starting to solidify, as it cools off and solidifies, it actually pulls more lead down into the cavity to fill out any voids made by it shrinking. See, because lead will shrink as it cools.
Yeah, cold contracts.
So you got to have that good level. I want I want it one piece. I always uh, and another thing I can't stand is when my lead kind of bounces into the cavity. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I got it all. I've made several hundred bad bullets. Uh, just doing what I was doing till I just got a hang of things and everything. I got things a little bit hotter, about 25 degrees hotter, and the mold warmed up, and then things just like you could do no wrong. I've seen a lot of the differences, like you said. It's like the lead wants to splash out of the hole or not fill up. Not getting a good pour, and my bullets being rounded on the end. Of course, I've not used any of this. I just remelted it.
Well,
But
that's
yeah, I know exactly what I'm
it's all
trying to learn
control.
as I go. But yeah, I know I had that problem for twice on two different evenings where I just wasn't hot enough yet, and like my pour, the lead just wanted to bounce right out of it. it
That's the volume of your stream, Jason. You want to
yeah,
just slow it down if
yeah,
that's the case.
yeah. I'd had some problems too because I'd gotten lead hot and got way too hot and then turned it down, and it was like my spout got clogged up. It's like
Mhm.
it fused up. So then you got to rewarm, deal with that. So I just had a mixture of like everything that could go wrong on me a couple times. But I loved every minute of it. It didn't frustrate me at all. I
It's
loved
learning.
all the problems I had. Yeah, I had a great time.
You're going to learn best
Yeah,
by making mistakes.
yeah, and it
That's
just
just the
it
truth of it.
I'm just trying to learn the feel of it. It sure feels nice. You kind of know when you got a good pour, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And and when that mold opens up, those bullets are just perfect and they come out nice. And I, I've had some success on some molds, and I put out a video where I asked help for one of the molds I had. Kind of need some doctoring up out of the box, and I didn't do it. But I found some other lead molds that I had here that were just fine, just as
Mhm.
smooth and nice. So I was glad to have learned that from all the help from you and everybody else out there. Uh, the future ones that I buy, I know to check them out. I'm maybe just going to touch them up a little bit, even if they don't seem like they need it. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, Jamie talked about how you fill. Some molds you'll find will require you to fill it from the tip of the mold. In other words, the very nose of the bullet, like a swoosh in a basketball. Don't want to touch anything. You want to hit the nose and fill it up. Where others will respond better to a deflected fill, like you actually hit the spear plate and let the lead run in. Um, I don't want to say it's temperature dependent because you should be running about 7 to 750 lead and a good warm mold to produce good bullets. So it's not really so much temperature dependent, but some molds just bleed better, bleed off the air better than others, and you'll find you just have to experiment. Some you have to pressure fill to make them work. That's putting the hole right up against the bottom or right up against the dipper, right up against the mold to fill that mold. It's you just have to try all these things to see what that mold likes. It's kind of like when you get a new gun, you don't know what it's going to shoot well. You got to try a bunch of different loads because everybody has their favorite, but what's determinant is what that barrel wants. Well, in this case, it's what that mold wants. So you just have to try these different things to see what's going to work best for that mold.
Yeah, I think Walter had a good point earlier about adjusting the flow of your pot because it seems like I can leave that I can leave that lead bottom pour pot sitting just like it is. Not touched it since the last time I cast with it. Go back in there with the same alloy. It's on a PID, so I know it's the same temperature. And for some reason, it's just casting different. You have to do different things. You have to be able to adapt, and as you go along, you learn those things CW's talking about, and what Hobbies Hobo was talking about, and it's a somebody put it. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was Senior Master Sergeant. There you go. We have all made bad bullets. That's called experience. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you wanted. Very well put.
Yep.
There you go. And let me tell y'all, a lot of times we hear people talking about especially experienced casters putting down those Lee two cavity molds, but I guarantee you, every one of them started with them.
Not me. They didn't make them when I started.
Well,
But
there
anyway,
you
yeah, like you make up a good point there, Jamie, and that is if you're always casting 357 or 9 millimeter bullets, and then you switch to let's say a 22 caliber, or the other extreme, that 500 grain 4570 that Big E's talking about. Um, those are different settings on your pot for stream. You want a full heavy stream when you're doing that 500 grainer. Otherwise, you're pretty much going to always get wrinkles because that mold, that lid is solidifying before you're filling the cavity, and you're going to get wrinkles no matter what you do. But with that 22, you're going to lift up the handle and it's going to splash out more than you got in the cavity because you're only casting a 50 grain or 75 grain bullet. So, that's when you want to turn your stream down so that you have a little less volume going in. It's all about experience, and there really is nothing wrong. It's a cast bullet, and that's one of the best parts about it. If you fudge it up, you just put it back in the pot. It doesn't matter. You just start over.
Yeah, like I said, I had the time of my life making mistakes. I haven't had all mistakes. I've got oh 200-300 that I will call good bullets that I am not afraid to load and shoot. Good bases, good powder coat, 45s, and then I went to the Lee, the 356 120 truncated cone bullet, and that mold just I did do the heating cycling it up on a previous day a couple times, but I didn't touch that mold with any kind of stones or fix anything on it. And I made some wrinkled bullets at first, but I was hovering around like 675, 700 degrees. And I got things bumped up to about 725, 730 in that range. And things just came out beautiful on it. Just like just the whole evening. I mean, just wonderful bullets, man. I'm really happy with these. So I've had some good success. Prepared for more failures, but I know what I'm looking for. I made a whole bunch of my stuff, and I kept telling myself, "Well, you'll keep doing it wrong. You'll keep doing it wrong. At least you're learning what not to do." And really, my biggest problem was the first time couple casting sessions I had. I didn't have any thermometers or anything. I just did it all by, like I said, what's flowing good, what's working good, what's going good. Then I went and got thermometers and put it in. And then for like one evening, I was just like too particular on like trying to get that thermometer to what I said. And like I said, I was just staying about 25 degrees too cold. And once I bumped it up, things were better. I think I had a thermometer pushed down all the way till it was touching the bottom of the pot, and I don't think I was getting a good reading. So I got it pulled up out of there, and I got things adjusted to right about 700 or so, and then it would creep up a little bit, and I keep turning the knob down. But yeah, I got a couple thermometers. I got like a regular one, and I got the Lyman digital, and I was just kind of too focused on what this thermometer's telling me rather than what the lead's telling me. So once I just got a little experience with it, things really started moving along for me.
Yeah, and it's good. It doesn't sound like you're getting frustrated, but like I said to you before, it's you've got my number. Just text me if you think I can help you. I'm happy to anytime. It doesn't matter if I can't answer you. I can't answer you. If I'm too busy to get to the phone, I'm too busy. But I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and most of the time I'll be able to get back to you right away.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Everything into reloadings, really, I have to thank all you guys now that I'm here to have a chance. I've learned so much from you guys. Took everything you've told me as gospel. Uh, uh, I've I invest in reloading every single week. I'm trying to get a lifetime worth of equipment in just 2 years span of time, and I get everything. Tonight I just got the Lyman Cast Bullet Handbook. I haven't just thumbed through it a little bit on the load data in it, but
The
I
blue
just
one, the current one,
yeah, uh,
it's a
yeah, I
good one.
just the fourth edition it says
Mhm.
on it. Haven't had a chance to go through it, but uh, yeah, everything I've got and everything I learned, and a lot of equipment that I bought is all off your guys' suggestions. And I haven't had a disappointing moment or frustrating moment in any of the process for 2 years, man.
Good to
Uh,
hear. Good to hear.
yeah.
Glad we could help.
Well,
Kyle,
I'm
I'm
a,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm a gunaholic, man. I am a firearm junkie, and getting away from factory store bought ammunition. Uh, Gosh, I'd wish I'd done it years ago. That's the one thing that kicks me is I waited so long, and I'll never go back. I'll never go back. With if I see factory ammo on the shelf, I'm looking at it just for the brass.
Me too. At this point in my life, Kyle, can you hear us?
He said that his
Yes,
meds
sir.
were kicking in.
Go ahead and sign off. But Kyle's not feeling good, guys. His back is messed up really bad, and doing what he does for a living.
I'm having issues, and I just want to say the last time that I looked at brass or ammo on the shelf, I was looking at it for the brass too. That's a good feeling to have, isn't it? But guys, I'm gonna have to call it short. I just took a bunch of medication. I won't be here in about 10 minutes. So I just want to say good night to everybody and thank everybody for stopping in. It's been fun. I am going to carry y'all to the bedroom, and I will be watching until I'm not anymore.
Well, good night, Kyle. If you need me, holler, brother. You got my number.
I
I ain't that
appreciate it,
far
man.
away.
I'm all right. I'm just in pain, and I'm going to bed.
I hope you feel better, Kyle.
Yeah. I hope
Yeah,
you
me
heal up
too.
there, buddy.
Good night,
Y'all be
buddy.
good. Carry on.
You too.
I would like to correct my previous statements, though. Um, the Lee hardness tester little microscope, that is slightly frustrating. But other than that, I haven't been frustrated with very much.
Yeah, I saw that. That ought to be a nice gun. When I was shooting Chevy Truck Challenge, I grabbed 27 real quick and ran up to the range and shot it a few times, and it was a pretty good shooter. And I shot that for the last couple matches in that when they were doing that on the East Coast. That's true, Raj. That's true. And that 27 shot wad cutters beautifully, beautifully. I wish I would have been able to try it with um, steel loaders instead of the plastic ones, the full moon clips. I mean, but that would have been even better. But it was just a 6-shot. It was before the time of the the 7s and the 8s and the whatever they make today. Side chat's going like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about coming up with some type of fixture or something to help me out. I kind of got, it took a little bit to get a couple tries at it. My readings for the lead that I've bought from what they said it was, uh, I was probably looking at my Lee scale told me it was just a little bit harder, or, it could be just me using a scale. It was pretty close, but I saw like Elvis Ammo used a pair of vice grips to hold the bullet. I was thinking about trying that. I was thinking about a couple different ideas, but just getting everything lined up on that and to hold still is just a little tricky.
I have a buddy who's uses that same Lee tester for his lead, and I took an old Lee mold that I wore out, and I machined one of the cavities to be flat, flush. I just ran it through the Bridgeport, and I ran a mill, and now you just cast a bullet with that. It just doesn't matter if it's warm or anything. You just stick it in the mold, in the stream, and it dumps you out a bullet with a flat side, so you don't have to go through and file a flat. And it was really handy for him. So if you can, if you see any wasted molds or bad, worn out molds or something you pick up somewhere, that might be an option for you. You could machine one of the cavities to give you a flat side, and then you cast a bullet that you could use without having to do anything to it.
What's up, BPJ? We can start now. So a lot of guys, Jason, are talking about uh, that telescope stand, microscope stand that Loads of Bacon has. It's basically 3D printed thing, and it works. Seems to work really well. And
Uh, I'll check that out. I kind of had the idea of if I could find, like the Lee crimp die is a collet die. If I could find one of those, like for a rifle or something that was big enough to go around the stem of that microscope stem like a pin, I would shove it down into, the breech lock press and maybe get it to hold the microscope still. I don't know. I was just kind of thinking something like that might work.
I don't think that one from Loads of Bacon on the Reloaders Network is that expensive for what it does. Give that a look first, Jason. I think it'll do what you need it to do.
Over at the Reloaders Network.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
and
I'll check that out. I'm writing it down. Thank you.
just look at thereloadersnetwork.com and go to the store, and it'll be in there. And I think it's $20, $25. And, I have not bought a lead tester yet, which I probably need to, but
Pencils work fine. They really do.
there you go. Okay, Lead Bullet Junkie wants to know about a wad that works well for buckshot and slugs. Rebel, I better bring lots of ammo is all I can say about that comment right there, buddy. If we hold off on the spring to do that, it may be that I'll have my load dialed in by then. Comes with a light too, Walter says. That's right, Thorzax. Even what CW told me last week. You got to match that. If you can make yourself remember that velocity is a result of pressure, it makes it easier to do that. In my mind, that's just how my mind works.
Also, powder coating, kind of destroys a lot of the old um, way things were done because you can shoot much softer lead at much higher velocities. So with a handgun, pretty much gas checks are not needed. With a rifle, it's still something that you probably want to look at, and you may find that you need gas checks just for accuracy, but you're not going to get leading like you used to with just a lead bullet when you use powder coating. So that's a huge asset, especially to a new caster, because it really takes the lead hardness mostly out of the picture.
That's what I've always thought. But when you powder coat, like CW said last week, even when you powder coat it and put a gas check on it, your hardness is still what it is. Um, Basically, that um, to me, a gas check does not completely eliminate leading, and I know it should, and I know I probably need to think of it that way. But to me, it sits up there. And I guess if the load is strong enough and it yeah obturates the way it's supposed to, it will. But yeah, my mind just anyway. I know I make no sense at all.
I've shot 10, 12 BHN bullets past 2,000 feet per second with a plane based bullet with zero residue in the barrel in multiple firearms. Now, that's not to say, somebody might. Um, the first leading, well, I shouldn't even call it leading. It wasn't leading. The first fouling that I saw was with a 44 Magnum with my cast and my powder coated at about 1100. So it's not, it's more the barrel. You get a rough barrel. If you look back into the rifle guys years ago, they'll complain about some barrels really copper foul badly, and that's comes from the barrel. The barrel is rough or sharp edges, or it really needs to be polished out. The broach, when they cut the barrel, there's all different reasons for why, or causes that are possible. But if you've got a really sharp rifled barrel, you're going to cut through that powder coat, and you can get leading, you can get fouling. You can polish out that barrel. You can do a number of things and probably eliminate, or at the very least reduce that. But for the most part, I don't have an issue.
Okay, if I had a brand new handgun, let's say 45 or 9 millimeter, never been fired, should I kind of break that barrel in with a jacketed bullet before I start shooting powder coated lead?
Let the barrel tell you. Shoot it and see what happens. It's not going to be an insurmountable problem. But I'd say not necessarily. But some people do just that, yeah. You can also just clean the barrel with like a bore scrubber with a little bit of grit in it. I think it's what is the stuff called? I'm forgetting it now. JB bore scrub, JB bore paste on a mop, and that'll definitely take off any sharp edges and condition that bore to be a little friendlier.
My
What they call that?
threshold. I'm
Bore
sorry.
polish, bore paste? Is that what they call that?
JB
Yeah,
bore paste. Yep. Comes in a little tub, little white tub with a metal cap. Kind of looks like old school valve grinding compound, but it's not. It's not that porous.
Like lapping compound.
Yeah, yeah, but it's real light. You put it on a mop, or you put it on a patch, on a brush, and go in and out of the barrel a few times, and then clean it out normal. But I wouldn't do it just to do it. I'd do it if you had a problem, or if you had some fouling you wanted to get out. I wouldn't do it just to do it, unless you needed it.
Everybody's agreeing with that.
Yep.
My 35 Remington, I've got, it's a Marlin microgroove barrel. I bought that, I think it was my 21st birthday present to myself. Um, so that would make it 38 years old. Yeah. And it's probably got, it don't have 1,000 rounds through it, even as long as I've had it. I can't count the number of deer that's been killed with that thing. But it's still, I would, if I had to guess, I would say 700, maybe 800 rounds through it. It don't have 1,000 rounds through it. But I can take some of my powder coated bullets, shoot them without a gas check, and I bring it in to clean it. And you can see the little hairs of the powder coat hanging down from the rifling on the when you look through it with a flashlight. Dang, this thing, man! I thought, wow. Yeah, James, it is. Yeah, you'll like that. I have senior master sergeants right now. I got to cast up some and send it on. But yeah, smooth out those tool marks too. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Dave. Yep. So yeah, when you get a gun that shoots like that, Kingpin, you're all right over there, buddy. Ain't heard from you in a minute.
I'm just sitting back, soaking it up. Do you guys ever get a chance to reharvest some of your fired lead, some of the cast bullets that you make? Like, I don't know if you have like a backstop which you can dig the bullets out of and different stuff like that to see what they look like when you fired them.
I personally don't, but I've seen a lot of people do that. I know Uncle Jim's got a setup where he uses tires and mud flaps off of an 18 wheeler, and was pretty genius. Willie at one time was using a 5 gallon bucket full of, I think, sand or rubber shavings or something like that. A lot of the guys do. Uh, CW's caught them with um, water jugs.
I just recovered some melted lead with powder coat on top of them from my toaster oven the other day.
You saw
Oof.
that picture.
Yeah, rubber mulch. That would work well.
Rubber mulch. Yeah, Critter had the same problem there, Jason. He melted some this week.
Um, when I went to my gun shop. One of the old men there, he does some competitive shooting, but he's been a reloader all his life. My gun store is a family owned private one. They've been in business 51 years. So I went in there and I told the old man I melted a batch of bullets, and he started laughing. He goes, "Oh, I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to feel like I was the only person that ever did that."
I think that's cool, and I think it can give you a lot of feedback on how what you're doing is working.
Yeah, sure enough, can.
I think kind of like a spark plug in your truck. Learn to read those things, man. Learn to read those bullets if you can reload them and recapture them. And the spark plug tell you a lot about the health of your motor. Uh, Captured bullet tell you a lot about your processes. See if you're on track. Um, the ones CW, the ones you caught with the sand, I did not like that. I don't like that. You need to go back to the water, buddy.
Yeah, water makes a nicer hollow point, but it's a lot messier.
It is.
The sand is a lot cleaner. I want to try wet sand, but my worry is mold. Um, I'd have to dump it out and buy new sand. I would think pretty regular.
Oh yeah. Willie's saying sand works too, and it does. If all you want is to recover that lead and use it again, melt it down, that would be cool. That would be fine for that. But as far as what Jason's talking about studying that or Kingpin, what you're talking about looking for, you can see the rifling in the barrel. You can measure it to see where your lands and grooves are, see exactly how large or small you need to be sizing your bullet. With cast lead, we want typically 1,000th above the groove size. Um, with those Marlin micro groove barrels, 2,000ths works better for me.
I like the fattest bullet that'll fit in the gun myself. I don't care what it is, as long as it's if it fits in the gun, I'll shoot it.
The chambers.
Yeah, well, I could be 3,000ths over. It's not a jacketed bullet. You can't think of it the same way. I got a couple of expanded bullets here to show, Jane.
All right, let's see them.
Now this is this bullet here, which is the 45-200 with the giant hollow point that I cast up, and this is into dry sand. Now this is out of the Smith & Wesson Shield 45 2.5-inch barrel, and that's how that opened up at that velocity. And you can see the rifling really good. You could measure that base, and you can see the green powder coat is still on there. This bullet came out of a Marlin Camp carbine micro groove, and you can see the difference in the rifling there. And you can see this is the same cast bullet, so the same hardness, same amount of lead. You can see how much more this opened up with the velocity increase of that longer barrel. But measuring, now this was a gray powder coat. It's got some gray and blue, I think it was. But you can see the rifling there, plain as day, at micro groove. And micro groove will work fine with cast bullets. It just gets accuracy will fall off a little bit faster. Now this is another one with the Smith & Wesson at a little lower velocity. This was a starting load, and that's the expansion that it got into dry sand. My next test will be some wet sand. I'll just waste a bag of sand and see what I get. If it produces a different expansion rate. I believe this same bullet in water would have opened up, more like this 380 bullet. And the funny thing is those were 45s, and this is a 380 in water, and that biggest 45 is just a whisker bigger than that 380. Just a whisker bigger. The 45 over here and the 380 over here.
Yes, I think the sand stopped it from.
Yeah, that 380 over here. This is a softer bullet, but not by a lot. I think this was just over 8 BHN, and this one here was just over 9 BHN. This one here was just about 8 BHN, so pretty close. And velocity on this was just over 1,000. This I don't really know. I'm estimating it to be about 850 or so. So pretty similar hardnesses, much bigger hollow point here and a little less velocity here. Water, sand. So that'll be next.
I think the sand got behind it once it started going in. I think the sand closed in around it and kept it from fully expanding. I think what the water would have done
And they also
better.
all had a good sized plug of the lid in them. Every one of them had it. I just hit these with a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and water to clean them up. But you can see how the powder coat stays. There's a blue one. It comes off in spots, but it pretty well stays even in the hollow point cavity.
That's good stuff right there, Senior Master Sergeant.
You're an evil man, Willie.
Easy now, guys.
What if you used like sand for the swimming pool? Like my swimming pool filter takes sand,
Yeah,
and it says you're not supposed to change it. Let it go 2-3 years without changing it. And I wouldn't think that it would mold or anything.
that's because it's getting flushed. There's water running through it, so it's getting flushed. I have some stuff that stops mold that I picked up at the beginning of COVID, and it's something that I use a cap full with a quart of water, and it works good because I've been using it in my quench bucket, and I get nothing in there, nothing. And without it, I would grow stuff pretty quick. I try and rinse it out every time I use it, but since I've been using this additive, it doesn't. Let me get it and show you because it's pretty good stuff.
I guess it wouldn't be right just to go down to the beach and ask people to step out of the way for a moment, would it?
Well, there's going to be a lot of stuff in that sand too, so the sand you buy is going to be better. Play sand or whatever. Here's the label. Coarse sand 20, and it's a fungicide. There we go. Disinfectant, and you just use a tiny bit of it, and it works really good. So I'm going to experiment with a couple capfuls in a 5-gallon pail with the sand to see if I can stop the mold growth. This is supposed to kill all that stuff, and basically that's what COVID is, and it's supposed to kill it dead on contact.
So you're talking about basically just doing a desk pop into a bucket of sand. You're
Yeah.
not going to be set it down range and
Right.
fire into it.
Mhm. Yep, garage pop type of thing.
Okay.
But like I said, I mix this stuff, and I keep a spray bottle in my truck. Like when I go get fuel, I just spray the pump down because it doesn't hurt anything. The guy I was reading about talking to was a chemist, and he found this stuff and used it with success on some of the earlier versions of COVID, and it worked 100%. And he actually used it for everything right down to athletes' feet, believe it or not. He said it was very mild. It didn't cause any problems, and it cured even athlete's foot, which is just a fungus. Like I said, I put a little cap in my buckets, and I don't get anything growing in there. Nothing. So it works. Well, I'm interested to try it in the sand because it'll get funky quick.
You talking about quenching buckets and that kind of thing?
Yeah. For my powder coated,
Yeah.
when I come out of the powder coat oven, I don't worry about that so much because that's the last step, and I'm done with the bullet. So it doesn't have to be fresh water, clean water. My quench from out of the mold hot is always fresh. But my quench, it's a separate area I do it in, and it's just water that pretty much stays there. But with a cap full of that in it, it foams a little bit when you agitate it, but nothing grows in it. Nothing.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and it's not overly expensive, and it goes a long way. I've had it for 2 years, and I'm maybe a third of the way through the bottle.
So how often do you change your water?
In the quench out of the mold, I don't even keep water in there. I put fresh water every time I do it. But
Right.
I don't do that a whole lot. I don't quench a lot of bullets out of the mold. I don't find a need to get them that hard. But my bullets out of the powder coat oven, I don't change that very regularly. I have to add water because it evaporates. So not very often. Since I've used that, not very often at all. It's got a basket in it, and I throw a cover over it so you don't get dead bugs in it. But not very often because I don't need to.
Dave had a comment I wanted to put up here. If I can find it. I don't know where it went, man. Sorry, Dave. Anyway, he's saying he don't like the Marlin microgroove for cast lead bullets. There it is. I shoot my 35 Remington. I shoot cast lead bullets in it, and will be in the 30-30 as soon as I get a load worked up.
I've got 2 Marlins and 45 Colt, and they have digested thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds of powder coated bullets, and I never get any residue in them whatsoever or have accuracy problems. Just pure lead without powder coating. I mean, they got a reputation for doing the leading, but I never saw it a lot myself, even with before powder coating, but I didn't shoot as many of them in that.
That's interesting how guys are moving away from water quenching out of the mold. Walter don't do it anymore either. That's interesting to me.
For me, the only real reason for it would be rifle bullets that I was going to push a little bit, and
Right.
I don't do that a lot. I don't do any 7mm 6.5. I do 30s, but I'm shooting them in the 30-30 and the 300 blackout, so no velocity to them.
That 6 shooter Texas talking about shooting 30-30 cast with trail balls. I bet that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've never bought or tried trail balls. I've seen you guys do it, and
It's pretty neat. You don't even need a manual for the loads. You just fill it, was it 60 or 70%, and don't go over 100, and you're good. Don't compress it. Just keep it under compressed, and be at least 70% case capacity, and you're fine.
James C, I do that too. I water quench from the mold and the oven for rifle loads.
Yeah, the only ones I don't quench out of the oven are the hollow points. Other than that, I pretty much quench everything out of the oven.
So you're
That's
quenching in
interesting.
water after your powder coating?
Yeah, and what it's for is what Walter just talked about there. There's no better way to soften a bullet than to cook it at 400 degrees for 20 minutes and then let it air dry. There's about nothing better. So and I've got a chart I've posted a few times for you guys, but if you quench out of the powder coat oven, you're not going to make your bullets harder than you started with. What you're going to do is you're going to come much closer to maintaining the alloy hardness that was in your pot. So if you fill your pot with 15 BHN, 10 BHN, you build your alloy to know what you've got. And you're going to powder coat and you quench out of the powder coat oven, you're going to come very close to maintaining that level of hardness. If you let them air cool, they're going to be softer.
About how much softer? How many BHN softer? You said.
It depends on what you start with. So there is no set number.
See,
Obviously, antimony is going to be the deciding factor. If you're casting with a tin and a pure lead mix, you're not going to have as much difference as you would with an antimony rich alloy. So, say linotype or monotype or stereotype, something really hard. If you're casting with just that, you're going to see a much greater difference than you would with a 20-1 or a 30-1 or a 16-1 alloy.
That's what Walter was saying. And hobbies, I agree that would be a great powder for first time for beginning reloaders, especially in rifle, but in the right rifle, 30-30, 35, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so it's getting on late, guys. Been interesting tonight. I think we've held on topics. We got to have one soon where we talk about shotgun. I'll try and get a video, an unboxing video done this weekend. I don't know about all that, guys. I don't understand all I know about it. There's that would make a complete live stream also. Safety. Somebody messed up and somebody's going to pay dearly for that, I'm afraid. But anyway.
See if I can find this chart that I have. All right. According to this chart, which was from Cast Bullet Board, air cooled. Now this is clip-on wheel weights. Air cooled ran with this alloy. Now the wheel weights vary, so his alloy ran about 12.25 BHN. Water cooled, water quenched out of the mold, it jumped to 27, so it more than doubled. Air cooled after powder coat was 12.5, so just a little bit harder. Air cooled cast, okay, so out of the mold onto a towel and then quenched out of the powder coat oven was 21, starting with 12. So this guy gained a lot with his numbers. I don't find that much, but this is what he found. And then quenched, cast, air cooled after powder coat was 14, so lost 50% from quenched alone. And then quenched cast and quenched PC was 23, so a 15% loss. So I don't see that much in mine, but it depends on what you start with. My wheel weights that I've used here, clip-ons, are more than 12. And I've never seen 27 out of a quenched wheel weight. I get more 21, 20, 21. So there's a variable there. But what's consistent is you get back what you started with if you're going to quench out of the PC oven, and you're going to be softer than what you started with if you air cool out of the PC oven. That's been a constant for me.
Interesting stuff. Now there's a concept I haven't thought of, Dave.
I'm afraid so. They'll probably want to, ban movies with firearms or something because of it.
Yeah, it wasn't. there weren't blanks, Idaho. I think what happened, somebody, they were wanting to go out in the desert and shoot. Somebody got some real like rounds messed up with the blanks.
I actually I feel sorry for everybody involved with it. It is a tragedy, an accident. You know what I mean? I don't know enough. We'll all learn more about it as days go on, so I don't really know all the details to comment on it. But for right now, I feel terrible for that lady's family and the guy got hurt. And I know the Alec Baldwin may not be friendly toward our guns or rights or anything, but I feel bad for him too. I'm sure he didn't intentionally mean anything.
I don't know if this picture will show. We can try. No, it's not gonna. A little bit. All right. Can you see that at all? Right, right, right here. That's a Glock bulge, and that's a sheared wall of the case in a Glock bulge.
You can see right there at the
See
top, right there
see
where
the
it's
corner?
actually separated.
The corner is there. It's like an edge. That's because of the Glock bulge, and that's what I was talking about with shearing. But the pictures don't come up good on the computer.
Not Rebel. We're just getting off of here. So let's go through the room. Tell us what you're going to be working on. Uh, we're honored to have Kingpin and Jason with us tonight. We hope y'all come back. And Kingpin, you going to be doing any videos?
I'm gonna try to get my Sunday video out again. Missed last Sunday, but I don't really see any videos coming out anytime soon. But it is always a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and thanks for having me.
Hey man, thanks for being here. Lately I'm seeing a spiritual side to your videos that I didn't know was there. Um, I think we're more brothers than we knew. So keep up the good work. I know you're a man of faith, and I appreciate that in a man. So, Jason, you going to be doing anything, brother?
Yeah, I really don't do videos, but I am gonna make another one. The little short video I made a week ago asking help with my mold, I'm gonna make a little follow-up video on after I do what everybody advised me to do and stone it up, clean it up, and I'll cast something with it and see how the bases turn out now. Uh, Everybody gave me good help, like in a real short period of time, and I really appreciated it. And I saw some comments, some other people appreciated learning also. So it was a really good deal, and I really have to thank everybody out there for it. But I really appreciate the invite, man. It was great to talk with you guys. Great to learn something, and I just really appreciate you guys sharing your knowledge is like invaluable to me. Bless you all for sharing it.
Well, thank you for being with us tonight. That's why I started making videos, was to help spread the stuff that I'd learned on YouTube and in my studying and reading books and such as that. So, CW, what are you going working on? What do you got cooking in your brain? I know you're always thinking about videos.
Always trying to figure out something. Yeah, I agree with Jamie 100%, Jason. That's the same reason for me, just to help folks out. I've had a lot of experience with a lot of things gun related, and had a good career at it and with it for many years. So happy to pass along what works for me and what I know. Hopefully, it helps somebody along the way. Um, as far as what I got going on, like I said, I really want to do something 300 blackout with those new bullets that I've realized that I've had for a while and hadn't done anything with. I think it'll be neat. I think it'll be informative. So that's probably what's on my agenda next, unless something else comes up, which is entirely possible.
Well, thanks, GGW. We appreciate that. That's why we're here, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. Glad you stopped by.
So I probably got 5 videos running in my mind at the same time about right now. So keep your eyes open. I got one already loaded up. I just need to turn it live, and I'll try to do that tomorrow morning sometime. Hope I get to go check out Caliber Corner. That's one of your buddies, ain't it, Kingpin?
Oh yeah, Travis P11 is a fantastic human being. He knows so much about firearms, and it's you can really tell that he's interested in this stuff because he gets completely in. If he's going to buy a gun, he knows every single thing about the gun, and he wants to share it with everybody. So if you got a chance, check out Travis P11 tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the only time zone that matters. And great show. And Jamie, anytime you want to join, Travis will be more than happy to have you on.
Well, I will do that soon. Um, I talk to him, and I'll make it a point to get up and get on with him one Saturday morning here soon. Just hunting season right now, so and he's infectious, guys. If y'all are up at 8 o'clock, go check out Travis P11 Caliber Corner 8 o'clock. He's fun. Of course, we got the Reloading podcast on Tuesday nights. Of course, Uncle Jim is on Saturday nights. Uh, the Crazy Scotsman and Allenby Pro on Foreign and Domestic on Sunday nights at 7. Check us out over on the Reloaders Network and Discord. Y'all can get in touch with just about all of us there. Y'all keep up the good discussion going on. Just because I cut this off don't mean y'all can't keep on chatting in the side chat. Y'all are having a great time, and that's one of the reasons we love to do what we do. If you don't get anything out of what we say, you get to visit with each other, and that makes it worthwhile. So we hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. Lord willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock.